All right, friends, how are you today? Aaron Michael Eschenberg here, bringing you your daily horoscope and a new moon horoscope, right, for Saturday the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Saturday the 4th of May, 2019. We've got a new moon in Taurus. This is a big deal, 14 degrees, all right? This is the middle degrees of Taurus. Before I jump into this, there's a lot of earth energy happening, specifically in the fixed sign of Taurus and the cardinal sign of Capricorn, all right? So there's fixed signs, there's mutable signs, and then there's cardinal signs. Cardinal means it's the strongest. Cardinal means hinge, literally, meaning it's going to hold this structure while allowing us to swing back and forth. So it's holding this down, and a new energy is coming in, right? So the cardinal signs would be Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. The fixed signs are going to be Taurus, Leo, then Scorpio, and Aquarius, right? Then the mutable signs, these are the weaker ones taken over by the stronger signs. Stronger, meaning the cardinal signs, is going to be the Pisces, it's going to be Gemini, it's going to be Virgo, and it's going to be Sagittarius, okay? So we have really a lot of fixed and cardinal energy right now. We have a couple planets going on in the mutable signs. But I want to break something down for you. Before we get really deep into what is going on with this new moon, I want to show you an aspect of these earth signs, okay? Now, many astrologers and many people start with the fire signs, you know. We start with the fire, the initial, the spark, and then we move forward, and it ends with the water sign, okay? So it's fire, then earth, then air, then water. I want to show you a different perspective of this so we can understand the earth signs, because we really complete at the earth signs, okay? The earth signs is when we bring things into perfection, okay? This is the final stage. So to understand this new moon, to understand where we're at, I want to walk you around the zodiac and kind of see if this makes sense to you and how we're feeling and what we're dealing with, because there's a lot of energy going around. And let's break it down. Let's get right into it, all right? So I'm going to start here with Gemini. Okay, now technically Aries, so this is the 4th of May here. We see this is 14 degrees 10. This is at 6:45 p.m. is when the new moon happens. So you look up at 6:45 and you will see nothing. Just a dark night sky, maybe a few stars. So let's look down here, though. So we've got Uranus and Taurus. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. This is for many years. This is going to be there, all right? But we're going to end with this Uranus and Taurus. We're going to end with this new moon, and it's all going to make sense, okay? So starting with Gemini, all right? So the first half, this is self, okay? Aries through, so this is me, my possessions, Taurus, me, self, Aries, my possessions, my things, my home, my thoughts, my intellect, my communication in Gemini, my emotions here in Cancer, right? How I feel, my intuition. This is my ego, my self-expression. This is Leo, okay? And then Virgo here, this is about putting in the work. So starting here with Gemini, we have, this is my first thoughts. How do I think about this? Well, Gemini is all about, let me go here. You know, Gemini is like all of the information. We talked about this, you know, it's like the AM radio. It is literally all of the information, the good, the bad, the static, whatever. So this can be kind of like trends, all right? Trends are buzzing. They're on the tip of the tongue. It's what's happening, you know, it's what season is it? What's the next holiday? What's the next, what's going to be in home, or what's going to be the end cap of a CVS? And that's Gemini, this buzzing information, right? So the spark, the start, Gemini, we have all of this information. This is trendy. This is cool, right? So this is where we're starting. Now, how do we feel about this? My emotions, I feel good about it. This is passing. We're all of our egos say yes. Let's move forward in this direction. And then we're here. 6th house, Virgo, work. Okay? This is giving back. This is the mutable earth sign, which means it's the weakest. It's the first to fall down. Okay? So we have this cool idea started off of theoretically a trend. Okay, we feel good about it. This is emotion, and this is my ego that's just like, yeah, because we're gonna make some freaking money, man. It's gonna be great, and people need this too, right? And then what happens? We start the business, might have some success, and then it's the first ones to fall, okay? These are the businesses that start up and fall, and start up and fall. These things don't last. They do not last. This Virgo energy is the mutable earth sign, meaning it's the flowers that blossom and die every year. It is the, you know, the fruit-bearing trees that bloom every year and die. This is the pinnacle, okay, aspect of Virgo. And it's also the nurses and the healers and the work, putting in the work. It's putting in the work after ego. Like, we've already dealt with ego self. So it's just like, this is the last personal sign. So the, you know, Virgos are fun. It's a fun energy, but this is literally come up and come down, okay? So we'll start a restaurant and then it fails. All right, we have nothing. Now let's go back and look here. We have nothing in Virgo right now. Nothing is in Virgo down here. All right, now we're moving up. Now, we've seen the rise and fall here, going from Gemini to Virgo, finishing in Virgo here. Now, we're in the sign of other people. We're starting with a lot of collective. We're starting with a lot of knowledge here in Libra, because this is multiple people. Multiple people. Air signs, again, are about information. A lot of people here have done these steps. And when they failed, they've gotten together with others, okay? Other people. Now, 8th house, Scorpio, this is about other people. This is about, you know, shared resources, okay? And then Sagittarius here is about worldly knowledge. Worldly knowledge. So we're starting with a lot of very intelligent people that are not just looking out for themselves, not on the pursuit of their own, you know, emotion and their own ego satisfaction over here, but this is a lot of people that are like, we got to do something bigger, okay? Not self-propelled. You know, so our resources, we're pooling in our resources with a lot of people, Scorpio, 8th house, okay? And with a lot of this people and a lot of money coming in comes a lot of knowledge, a lot of worldly knowledge, okay? That's Sagittarius, and having faith that we're creating the right business, which brings us to Capricorn, okay? This is the big business. This is, you know, Wall Street, and this is, you know, the conglomerates. This is like your Roundup guy who, you know, these big businesses, you're like, man, these are giant empires, okay? These are not usually just one person running the show. This is a group of people that run this whole system, okay? So we've seen the rise and fall of this, you know, of what happens here in this mutable to mutable energy. Now cardinal to cardinal energy. It's like, no, we're sticking around. We're making changes and we're doing things, okay? So this big business aspect in Capricorn, laws and government and you know, a lot of money. And these things also fall very hard when they do. Not as often as Virgo. This stuff sticks around, okay? So Capricorn big here, Wall Street. Cancer down here is like this Main Street, you know, more mom and pop, more home. That's why we have this North Node, South Node, you know, happening, and all of this energy up in the sign of Capricorn is like release. We have to release some of this big business mentality. We have to release this corporate America mentality. You know, we're changing the game. We're changing the structure, okay? So again, from Libra to Capricorn, this is serious business. This is giant law firms, giant, you know, just, you know, like your Sears and Roebuck or your Target or your Best Buy. These are big businesses, a lot of money, a lot of people are involved here. But just like Sears and Roebuck, just bankrupt, I believe, in the past 12 months, something like that. I mean, there used to be like Sears homes, you know what I mean? Like you just had a Sears home. It was like a cookie cutter house. This whole street was homes from Sears. No one would ever thought that this company would go under, but over time it did. Going back to it now, watch this, because this is the most interesting one. So this is very self-driven down here, from Gemini up to Virgo. This is very self-driven, you know, self-fulfilled prophecies, and this is going to last, and sometimes they certainly do, and sometimes, you know, these smaller businesses, they start working with other people and more money and more concepts and ideas, and they become these larger businesses that last for longer over here, okay? But now here, this is the final one, okay? Aquarius. Okay, we're starting with Aquarius, which is the fixed sign, fixed air sign. Okay, the majority of our presidents in the United States were Aquarians. Not our current president, but the majority of them are because Aquarians are very future thinking, okay? It's just like, well, we've seen what happens in the rise and the fall of these small businesses, and now we see what can happen with these big businesses, but we can also see the negative side of these big businesses, okay? So we're using our future thinking and community-based knowledge and communication and awareness, social awareness, to start formulating these concepts, okay? Now what happens though with this one is we're starting here in the sign of others. Emotionally, this is the big stuff, Pisces. This is the big one where it's not personal emotions. This is not, the sex, money, power, Scorpio kind of stuff, which is, can be ego-driven just the same, can be very muddled and what's the right word I'm looking for here? Just kind of ego driven. We're here. This is like, no, these are big policies. This is big stuff. Okay, starting with futuristic, community-driven Aquarius. This is what rules. Aquarius is what rules. Is the ruling planet is Uranus. Okay, and this is ruling the nervous system. Okay, Aquarius rules the nervous system, right? And it is the water in between the air. That is what Aquarius is the water in between the air that allows the electrical currents to flow from one side to another, all right? And then we're moving into Pisces. Again, this is like the all-encompassing. This is not just my emotions or just the emotions of some heavy hitters who invested a lot of money, but this is, Pisces, this is the knowledge from the small child all the way to the grandmaster, okay? So this is a lot of beautiful knowledge in an emotional knowledge, okay? So then we cross over. This is the only one that does this. If you notice here, from Gemini to Virgo, we're staying within the signs of self. With Libra to Capricorn, we're staying within the outer, the outside signs, which have to do with others. Now here we're crossing from starting with the outsides. This is very coming from a community-driven space, and it's about people. Okay, this is about people, and these practices that are implemented are the long-lasting Taurus. Okay, these are the traditions that have been passed down for generation and generation and generation and generation. Okay, so this when things come to the perfection of Taurus, it's like they've already been through all of the other stuff. They've been through the selfish aspects. They've been through we went into this with this big money and our outside investors and this for this giant corporation. And we realized that wasn't the answer either. So we implemented a system. We've implemented strategies and, the traditions to help humanity along the way. Okay, back to Aries. Aries is self, to help humanity. We're helping people. It's why these are in place. But they don't always make sense for thousands of years. They just don't. Okay, so Uranus being in Taurus, this is the first time it's been there since 1934, the middle of the Great Depression. Okay, we weren't dealing with money, we were dealing with rations. It was illegal to hold gold. All right, I'm a firm believer in cryptocurrency. I have a huge belief that we will lose the analog dollar, this paper dollar, over the next 7 to 8 years while Uranus is in Taurus. But we have a break of traditions, okay? A single bar can be a prison if you hold on to it long enough, friends. The dollar is one of those bills we've held on to a very long time, but I don't really want to talk about money so much. This was I had a different show for that. But we're talking about ourselves, our own principles, our own traditions that we're breaking right now. And we're coming into a place where our own, the storm is internal. The storm is internal. The struggle is internal, not external. And how we handle this internal change that's coming our way, because there's a lot of change. Yes, some of it is outside, but it has to be done internally. And this is where we show our sign of maturity, this new moon, okay, as we're putting a new face forward. There's been a lot of things on the outside here that have been affecting us recently, okay? A lot of this Aries energy, the Venus and Mercury moving through, passing Chiron, which is the first time that we've experienced this year. It's bringing up a lot, it's really stirring the pot, bringing up a lot of emotions. So we have to change things. it's just as simple as it is. This going down this same path will lead to our destruction. And we know that. And we're coming in full awareness of that. And it's creating this feeling, this pulling that we have to change. And now this internal maturity that has developed over the years, months, weeks. I mean, heck, even, the past 2 days, I'm sure there's been growing and learning that happens constantly. Hopefully, every day. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. So we're now faced with this internal dialogue, this internal storm with the outside storm, and it's just like, no, I have to maintain mine, and I have to be the solid rock that moves ahead. And that's what Taurus is this solid rock. When I leave, so here's another one, right? So Virgo is the dying of the flowers and the trees. They grow and die every year. Capricorn is the peak of Mount Everest and the valleys of the ocean. Okay, this is the great contrast. When I walk out of my house, I expect the ground to be there. This is Taurus. I expect stability. Can we expect stability within ourselves, our friends, our partners, our parents, our teachers, our bosses? I love this. I will leave you with this. There was I forget who says it off the top of my head. It'll come to me probably as soon as I hit stop. But it's if we allow words to manipulate us, to control us, that means everyone else around us can control us because of the words that they're saying and how they're affecting us. Okay, so there has to be a detachment. That's one of these things as well with the earth signs. They're slightly detached emotionally because they have to be. To get the work done, it's necessary to be slightly detached. And when we're not feeling that every little thing that comes, that, every leaf that falls of the tree, it's just like, if we're crying over every single thing here, we can't stop to get them raked before it ruins the yard. Maybe that's a bad analogy. Emotional responsibility, whatever the analogy is, however it comes, is emotional responsibility where we're now being asked, being called upon to be the stable, reliable people, whatever is going on externally, that internally we have to keep it together to maintain, to be the strong legs. Your table needs strong legs. If I want to put this book on it, or to set my phone down, or set a glass, or to eat a plate of food, this table's got to have strong legs. And if one of those strong legs falls away, this table is unreliable. If the table's unreliable, I'm going to buy a new table. So we are coming into our own about being reliable for ourselves and for others, while also being open to an immense amount of change. Because we cannot escape this change that's coming in. Breaking the old traditions, creating new ones that will be implemented. Coming from a very futuristic place, a community-driven place of necessity. Not ego-driven or money-driven, but a place of necessity. So happy new moon, everybody. May the 4th be with you. I love you. I wish you enough. And I'll see you tomorrow.